This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep, brand new week of Mood Prep. Mood prepping of the moods. My name is Dave Nixon, and today I would like to give you a bit of an insight on how to be an expert from someone who is not an expert, but I'm an expert at knowing that. Anyway, you get the point. How to be an expert? Well, it's kind of interesting in the idea of an expert, and this is something that, you look at something, how to be a master. I've talked about how to be a grandmaster before, and I think that's a really important podcast to listen to. There's a lot of lessons that I gained from that lesson that I shared with you, but how to be an expert is another conversation, and I've talked to many people before, and people that hold positions where it's like master's it, right? You've mastered it, there's no more, and it's like you're never a master. And so the question is, well, when are you an expert? And it's like, well, if you want to be an expert, let go of the need to be an expert. What happens then is that you move into the student, right? And to be the student means that you give yourself permission to be wrong, and this becomes a beautiful place because your growth isn't a photo, it's a movie, right? It's this continual development of understanding that what you may think today could be pulled apart in the future, and you might realize that you were wrong. And experts have the ability to do this. So experts have this long-term understanding that they're going to be playing this game for a very long time. And they are the first people, like in the first row at a seminar, listening to somebody else, pulling apart the way that the content they're delivering and the context they're delivering, because they're the student, to be able to deliver the best thing they can to the people that are listening to them, whether that be in a seminar sense, whether that's from this podcast sense, whether it's from a work sense. It's reading, it's continually looking at all of the information provided to you, and also everything that you are providing, because that's information, right? And this is the beauty of talking. I mean, for me, this is the beauty of the podcast. It's like a lot of the time you're getting my thinking, and I'm unraveling it, and I'm formulating these sentences a lot of the time as I'm going, and it's like, yeah, that's it. That's what I'm thinking about. And it's like doing that, and doing it, 5 times a week for 50 weeks a year, 250 times. I'm like, man, you're going to be able to pull your thoughts apart. And if you continually question your skill, right, what you're looking to master, if you continually question that, it's not from a place of doubt, it's from a place of curiosity. Because the beauty of the truth is that it doesn't give a fuck if you question it. It doesn't care, because it's like, ask again, you'll get the same answer. Whereas something that isn't made of stone, right, that isn't the truth, will give a shit. And this is when people are lying and you question them, like, why don't you believe me? It's like, well, because of that response, asshat. And because of that, it really does allow us to do that to ourselves. And the beauty of doing it to ourselves and questioning it and pulling ourselves apart from this place of curiosity and growth, rather than this place of self-doubt and, negativity, if you want to call it that, or like, always being like, I'm never good enough, I've got to be perfect. It's like, if you are on the pursuit of perfection, I am not going along with you. Not a fucking chance in the world, because it's going to be a lonely life, because perfection never occurs. That's why self-mastery is a goal, because self-mastery is not becoming more, it's unbecoming, right? It's unbecoming all these needs, all these thoughts, because thoughts are just thoughts, and most of the time they're not yours. And people are like, what the fuck do you mean they're not mine? It's like, what, you think that if you lived 400 years ago, you'd have the same thoughts today? Look at Jung. Carl Jung asked the question, do people have ideas, or do ideas have people? It's like our thoughts are these culturally manufactured things that come through us. And when we can really make this change of understanding that we are not our thoughts, but rather we have thoughts, and they come through. And I often give people the analogy of like a nightclub, like you're the bouncer in the nightclub, right? And you stand bouncer, and these thoughts are trying to get into the nightclub, and they kind of want to party. Right? They want to be able to, mingle and share, and some of them aren't. Some of them want to go in there and just be quiet, whatever the case might be, right? And you have to screen these thoughts. And some thoughts come just like walk past and they never want to come into your nightclub, and you just let them go and off they go. You never think of them ever again, right? But some thoughts come every fucking weekend, and they're pissed, and they're negative, they're shitty thoughts, and you got to stop letting them in. You could let them in, they cause trouble, and you're like, whoa, why do I keep letting you in? It's like, yeah, they fucking messed the place up, dude. Don't let them in the first place, because they aren't you. They're thoughts that come through, and you got to let them go. And this is the beauty of it, is that to be an expert in some area, we need to let go of being an expert. And when we do that, we grow and develop, and then we have this fountain of knowledge. It's like, well, fuck, I don't know. I mean, it could be this or it could be that. You listen to somebody who thinks they're an expert, and they'll tell you the correct answer, and this is it. And it's different in different areas. I'm fully aware that scientific research is going to be a little bit different, but you'll keep on finding that. Excuse me, I've got a little something in my throat. It can be variables. Like, this is what we know to be fact. Okay, fair enough. Okay, cool. Play that game. I'm happy with that. But overall, when it's like, this is what I think, it's like, yeah, do you? Why is that the case? Pull it apart. Pull it apart before someone else does, right? Like, that's it. Like, the one thing that changed the way that I delivered my information was when I started saying, this is what I think. And then I look at it and I go, based on the situation, I would go, I'm happy to be wrong. And what that meant when I said I'm happy to be wrong was, I care more about the outcome than I care about me knowing the outcome. Because when we know what the true outcome is, then I'll know the outcome anyway. And that's cool. Grow and learn and move on from there. And that became that the truth and the outcome became important, not me knowing the answer. I let go of the ego of going, I have to be the person and this has to be me. And people have to look up to it. It's like, nah, fuck it. Like, it's four brains in this question here that are trying to pull it apart. I'm like, maybe they know something, David. Maybe you could let go of your ego and thinking that you have to be right and provide all the answers. And what do you know? Kind of worked. And so really this growth place of becoming an expert, expert, for some reason there's Bert. Is it Bert? Expert. I wish I knew a Bert. We have to let go of this need to be one. We also have to be committed to our purpose for a very long time. Like a very long time. Like, you don't get to call yourself an expert. Somebody else gets to call you an expert. Right? It's the same thing as a coach. When someone's like, yeah, I'm a coach. It's like, do you tell that to people that you coach? Or do they call you coach? Because that's also very different. I see people walking around with shirts that say coach on it. And I'm like, are you really? Why do you have to tell me? Why do you have to tell me that you're rich? Wealthy people don't. It's a really interesting conversation. So experts don't tell you that they're experts. They just share information. And they're committed to the outcome. They're not committed to being right. That's a really big difference. So I really identify as the student, but also know when to share, right? It's a student of life. I think the beauty of both seeking the truth and being curious about your thoughts and where they come from, rather than go, that's my thought, therefore that's it, and that's what I think. It's like, why do you think that? I know I've thought things, and when I've, maybe about my friends, and when I pulled it apart, it was actually an insecurity of mine. It's like, oh, I think I know what's going to happen. They're going to do this, that, and that. It's like, actually, you're just scared you're going to lose them. Now you fucking pull that yourself apart about yourself, and you're like, oh God, how many times have I done this? And it's not a matter of like, oh, I've stuffed so many things up. It's like, okay, well, with this new awareness, I can do something with it, right? That's the beauty. With this new awareness, I can do something with it, because growth means change. You do not, like, the smartest people in the world have amazing questions, and from there, they can formulate good, hypothesis, so to speak, but solutions, answers. They can pull it apart. But we have to continually develop these questions, because our quality of our life is heavily dependent upon the quality of questions that we bring to it every single day. And if we think that we are right, we're not going to bring these beautiful questions to life, because we're so busy protecting our own rightness that we sit here in our ego and defending it. It's like, you're only defending your fucking ego. The ego's not bad, but in this circumstance, it's stopping the growth of you and everyone around you. Question it. Be curious about it. And the last thing I think I want to put onto this about how to be an expert is, look at people you look up to and reach out. Whether it be for help, support, guidance, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. Reach out. Do that. Be prepared to do a lot of wrong things in order to be pointed in the right direction. I think a lot of people are like, I want to know the right way to do it. It's like, well, here's 18 wrong ways to do it. I don't want to know that. It's like, you need to know what you don't want. It's just as important as knowing what you want. That's why we go through a lot of bad relationships and things like that, is because it's like, oh, okay, I should probably stop doing that. Right, so when I eat the shit thing, I feel bad. When I eat the good thing, I feel better. Oh, okay, that makes fucking sense. Like, it's really obvious. And it's not about necessarily being good or bad. It's just feedback. And that's the power of it. So, how to be an expert? Stop trying to be one. Team, I'm out. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would love it if you would share it with one of your friends or two of your friends, or maybe a friendship group if you have one of those. And share it with them if you think they would also benefit from it. Also, as always, I do have my seminars, my connected coaching seminars coming around Australia, here in Canberra in May, Sydney at the start of June, Melbourne end of June, and Perth and Brisbane and Adelaide to be announced. If you want more information, then please jump on my Facebook, Dave Nixon, or on davenixon.com.au. It'll all be up on there. Otherwise, as always, peace and pizza, kick this week in the dick, and slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unlearned.